I found a new indie game which plays like a mix of Baldur's Gate and Stardew Valley, with a lot of gameplay mechanics that remind me of a Disgaea series, but because that's a very niche game series which no one really plays other than me, we're gonna go with the first two comparisons. This is a Chinese wuxia inspired RPG open world game with some martial arts, turn-based strategy gameplay elements. The game has a really nice art style with lots of characters, allowing you to either play the game as a solo or party up to 6 people plus a beast. This is honestly a very unique game, which I couldn't really find it ripping off the other titles I mentioned. I mean, it definitely pulls some inspirations or good parts from a lot of those games, but it definitely stands out as its own experience. The publishers of this game also published Sands of Salazar, another similar game I've made videos on before. So while I'm thankful for the Steam key, I'll be making this video to talk about the game and help you figure out if it's something that interests you. I play a lot of different games in the genre and am a huge turn-based tactics fan. So if a game was really bad, trust me, I would let you know, but honestly, I was surprised by how fun and interesting this game was to get into. The turn-based combat is very fast and still pretty in-depth for what it is, and each character can level up a lot of times, doing dozens of damage per hit up to thousands of damage per hit. The graphic style definitely reminds me a lot of Stardew Valley and a lot of PS2 era RPGs. I do have to say, after about 10 hours of gameplay, I'm pretty hooked by those 10 hours, and it zoomed by as I was exploring the world, getting stronger, and meeting all the different NPCs. Okay, enough whacking off the Stardew Valley design aspects, let's get into the actual gameplay. The trailer does a great job at showing off some cool parts of the game, like the sneaking mechanic. Of course, you can sneak around for missions and at bandit bases and whatnot. As you can see, you can try to steal chicken eggs, but if the chickens notice you taking eggs, you have to fight the chickens with a possibility of even losing to them. And you start the game as a weak nobody, basically level 1, low stats, and you're trying to get stronger and conquer the world of martial arts. Well, the game does have an English translation releasing in about 10 days from the recording date of this video. It's mainly in Chinese, but there's a community translation mod in the game, so everything I say in the video might not be final or it'll get updated and fixed. This experience that I got with the translation was honestly pretty good. I was able to keep up with pretty much everything and end up enjoying the game a lot, so join me as we jump into a new game of Hero's Adventure Road to Passion as we try to figure out if this game is worth playing. You'll begin the game with a choice between different difficulties. Easy mode is the standard difficulty, and even this difficulty was, well, it was difficult. I gotta get better at scripting. You'll create a character using some attribute points which impact your character's stats. You also get to choose a weapon class, and you can use a variety of different weapons. Want to become like Zoro from One Piece? Well, choose the sword class. If you'd like to become a martial arts master like Chuck Norris, then choose the fist class. Or if you'd like to dominate your foes with the sound of musical instruments, of course you can do that too. You know damn right I had to choose the lute class, which honestly it isn't even that bad of a class. Like, it does some decent damage, and you have a large amount of range as you get leveled up to hit from. You also have a variety of traits to pick from at the start of the game which offer different bonuses, and as you play the game and replay the game, the more achievements you complete, the more points you get to start your next game with. And once you do start the game, you'll be greeted with an intro cutscene of 2 female ninjas who are fighting. One is a thief and the other is from the crime bureau. Both of them want us to help them, but we do have a few different options here. Now both sides lead to slightly different events, but in this case we'll side with a blue ninja girl. I do appreciate how this is a Chinese translated game, so certain jokes made or just certain ways of speaking that would be big no-nos in the West make it in, and it honestly, it's so funny. In Hero's Adventure, when we help the blue ninja girl get up, she says we need to tie up the other girl, to which her character says something like, well, I know you both are females, but do you have to be that petty? What a based, cultivating hero. I gotta rename this game to Sigma Adventure, okay? That was hardcore. But we lead them to a shrine, and after a quick rest, we're free to explore the world. And some of them get pretty complex, as each city has like dozens of locations, 20 or sometimes closer to 50 NPCs to meet, along with the standard guests and random travelers who help fill up the world. We're gonna start with trying to get some berries from the nearby forest, so we can feed our new ninja friend. Now, we can choose to just not come back from this point and abandon that quest line, and we could have left them both there at the start too, I believe, but we're gonna make the goal of trying to find food and then return. Going into the forest, you're gonna find a lot of different enemies, and these enemies start off with us fighting stuff like snakes, and then moves on to boars later on in the map. The design of each location and game is really well done. I mean, cities and villages have plenty of NPCs and places to go, and when you visit places like the forest or in the mountains, those are what offer enemies to train off of, of, as well as resources to collect and sell. Like most turn-based games, you can deal more damage when attacking from the side, or you deal even more damage when attacking from the back of a character, and there's even an auto battle mode, which I found works really well in this game. Sometimes it's too intrusive or it just makes the game way too easy, but I found after grinding in the forest for a while, I was finally able to turn on the auto battle, but during boss battles, a lot of them required me to turn it off and play pretty strategically. I had a great time at this point in the game. It was a great introduction area though. I found a few different people in the forest. Like first off, there's a lumberjack, as this game likes to call them, woodcutters. So I found this woodcutter and he was surrounded by snakes. And if we try to save him like I tried to do in my first playthrough, chances are he'll likely die. And he's actually a villager in the local village, so he'll just not be in the game anymore. All NPCs can meet their fate if killed in battle, and you have certain events like this that definitely influence the game a lot. We also end up finding a beast tamer who was fighting some boars and showing us his amazing combat abilities, and then we found a bandit. The bandit was about to be attacked by a bunch of boars, so I tried to save him, and we did, but then he tried to beat us up, and we had to battle him starting with half health. The way the events and choices all play out in the game make it very engaging, and depending on what skills you have, whether you want to take the battle or not, or if you just want to pay and bribe your way through each situation, it can vary in what the outcome is. When we went back to the ninja lady, we ate some boar meat and got a skill manual. The skill manuals in this game are pretty essential to your character's strength, offering different attacks, stat bonuses, and effects. So throughout the game, you'll be gaining character XP, which goes towards leveling up, and then you'll also learn skill XP for whatever skill you use in battle or are focusing on. This is very similar to how Disgaea does it, and as I said, Disgaea isn't a really well-known series, but for those of you who have played it, you're gonna know what I mean by this is like an open world Disgaea game. It's like a dream come true. You have 3 days to explore and do whatever you want until the ninja lady needs you again, so at this point, going to the village is the best option. This brings us to the sect part of a game, where you start to make a group and get strong and master the martial arts world. You end up meeting a lewd old man at the village entrance who's pretty drunk, but he's also really strong, and he'll usually beat you up really fast in the starting game, but I ended up out-leveling him on this playthrough and actually beat him this time. I chose him as my master since he's a cool guy and helps guide you throughout the game, but there are numerous different sects to join and learn from, so choose wisely before you decide if you want to make your own or join a different one. In the village itself, you'll find a few different houses and merchants you can buy and sell with. The NPCs in the game can all gain relations to you as well, with one of the starter goals being to get the doctor to be your friend and join your party. I was not able to do this. This quest is so hard, but either way, you find or buy gifts and then use those to increase relationships, along with completing quests and wishes that characters give you. With enough relationship status, you can trade with them and even have them join your party, like the innkeeper. She's a really cool character in the game with plenty of different events happening, and one of them being there's like a mysterious shadow figure stalking the store. And then if a certain series of events plays out, then she'll end up joining your party through that. The first companion I actually got though was a rooster, which I fed bugs to until it loved me. You can do this with similar animals and beasts in the game, but be careful if you go into a main city, as most of them have a no beast policy, so you have to tell your little buddy to wait outside. Talking about the cities and the villages, there are a lot of different NPCs to meet and recruit in the game, and as you continue to progress, you'll fill up your team and start leveling everyone up and teaching them new martial arts skills. The first area of the game is great and does an amazing job at an introduction to the game, and as you travel to other areas of the game, you'll have a lot more places to go and explore in. Like I said, the village has a fair amount of NPCs, but the cities have maybe 2 to 3 times more, so after I spent a few hours of doing stuff there, I was really starting to feel at home and ready to explore the rest of the world. And as you progress throughout the game, you're going to constantly encounter enemies who deal damage in the thousands. Even this one dude who was just at the city gate, he came up, challenged me to a battle, and then proceeded to one-shot me before my turn started. And then he was clowning on me. This game has a very charming but brutal world, which you'll only be able to conquer with strength, money, and influence. Now, there is a main story in the game, along with a lot of side quests and missions to help shape your playthrough and lead you to your ending. You're going to be trying to become the strongest in the land, and mixed with the addicting leveling system and how fast the game seems to progress, it's the closest I've played to a Disgaea-like game before, and with it being open world, it's just amazing. I'm a huge fan of it. Every day you got different skills that you can work on or do too. Like you can visit different locations, you can go fishing, go bug catching, mining, wood cutting, you know, etc. You have stamina, so every day you can do a certain amount of actions before you need to rest. And the game operates on a 24-hour clock and has a day system, but it all uses like wuxia time zone. And seeing as like most people couldn't figure out how the 24-hour clocks worked in the Pokemon games in Gen 4, yeah, good luck with that. It used to end at day 100, but the devs did just update the game so you can play past day 100. And the game is on Steam for an attractive price point of $23.50 Canadian. Oh, that look fucking good, man. I mean, I think it's a really good price. This is definitely like a $40 to $50 game for real. Maybe even a AAA price game with how much love was put into this compared to other titles by more established developers. For 23 bucks or on sale, it's a steal and I highly recommend it. If you like wuxia games or turn-based strategy games in general, you're going to enjoy this game a lot. And with a lot of different gameplay aspects from Stardew Valley to Baldur's Gate, you'll likely enjoy your first full playthrough for 20 to 30 hours or so, and then you can go on to hundreds of hours of playtime if you want to complete each difficulty, get different endings, try different classes, or explore every part of this world. And like I said, with this being a Chinese wuxia game and the game being translated into English on the 16th of November, there is supposed to be a better English patch, but for the most part, I found the dialogue in the game to be fine, and I really got into some of the stories and quests that I was playing through. They did send me a review copy, so again, let me make that clear and also thank the developers, as if the game wasn't good, I wouldn't vouch for it, but I do feel like this is definitely one of the best indie games I've played in 2023. I'm excited to go through on a full playthrough and likely play it on the channel, but what do you think of this game? Will you or have you been playing it? And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and check out my social media links if you want to support me and my content. As always though, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.